everyone. Welcome back to Invest with Tanya. Today, I have a very special guest, Francisco Diaz. He is here to talk to us about his real estate journey and how he's gotten into Airbnb recently. So, hi, Francisco. How are you?
Hey Tanya, I'm doing good. How are you?
Pretty good. So, tell the audience just a little bit of how you got into real estate and real estate investing.
Awesome, will do. I had a friend in college that introduced me to what being a real estate agent was, and he got me into getting my license. I truthfully got into it blindly, not knowing what it entailed. But thankfully, it was the best choice I ever made in my life. I'm super glad I was willing to commit to getting my license because I learned it's not just a license that you have, but it's a whole career path you can pursue. And not only that, but you can also build generational wealth by being in real estate and becoming a real estate investor. So I'm super grateful that at this point in my career, 6 years later, I'm able to keep expanding within the real estate arena, not just being an agent, but being an investor.
Yeah, and how have you found like the difference between how you're able to treat your clients now being that real estate investor?
I think it goes down to practicing what you preach. So we always encourage clients to get into home ownership, investing in real estate, looking at real estate as an investment, not a liability. But until you actually become an investor, it's a different kind of advice that you're giving because now you're giving advice that you're actually doing yourself and taking yourself. And so whenever you have a bit of cash that you've been able to save up and buy your first investment property, it is a different feeling that you have and a different perspective you can bring to your clients. And it's also an example you're able to give your clients as well, showing them what kind of deals you've done and preaching to them how they could do the same.
Yeah, I completely agree. This has been one of the things that I tell my clients like a lot of real estate agents are out there, but some of them still haven't even bought in their house. So you want to work with someone that has really done it all and seen it all. And I think that
I
is so
agree.
important. And I'm glad that you do that and that you're walking, not just talking the talk, but walking the walk. But okay, so tell us, like, how did you get into Airbnb? Because I find that so interesting.
Thank you. So my second property I bought, I made it a rental. My third property, I thought I would diversify my portfolio a bit and experiment with Airbnb and the short-term rental arena. Gratefully, it's been doing well so far. So whenever I travel, I like traveling throughout the U.S., Latin America, and I always stay at an Airbnb. I find it to be more homey. And I always made it a goal that, hey, one day I want to have my own Airbnb and be able to be a host rather than just a guest. And what a better place to do it than in your own local market here in Bay Vistas, where I chose to buy my first Airbnb. And that's kind of what made me pull the trigger on it. One, being that I've used Airbnb so much before, and two, being that I do want to be a real estate investor. Instead of just buying another rental property, I thought, hey, why not? Why not make it an Airbnb? I have the knowledge, I have the capital to buy a third property. It just made sense.
Okay, and then touching on the knowledge piece, like, where did you go look for that information?
So with investing, I've learned it throughout my 6 years being an agent. Thankfully, I've had many clients that are investors themselves. Some having hundreds of properties, some buying cash, some leveraging debt to buy properties, etc. A bit of the research I did before getting into an Airbnb property purchase was going to airdna.co and just looking at comps, seeing what are properties renting for on a nightly basis, on weekdays, weekends, etc., and the location where I want to buy, and where is the best location to buy in. So thankfully, my experience being a real estate agent and broker helped me out, but I also went a bit above and beyond and doing my research, also looking at YouTube videos on other Airbnb people who are Airbnb coaches and give you tips that you're just not gonna learn elsewhere, and also networking. Thankfully, I have a pretty good network, and I was able to speak with many people that have Airbnbs in Bay Vista or throughout Northwest Arkansas. Many of them showed me their properties. Many of them gave me their time of day to sit down and just kind of talk about the pros and cons of doing Airbnb.
Oh, wow. So, okay. So I had never even thought about asking other people in this area to show me their Airbnb. I've always like I've had an interest in it, and me and my husband did actually start an Airbnb 2 years ago, but we ended up down because it was like we opened it right before the pandemic,
Uh-oh.
and so we were just like, "Nope, we're not doing this," because we were still cleaning it ourselves and doing all that stuff. So we just decided to go ahead and shut it down, but it is something that has interested me a lot in doing. Um, but just that being said, like, what would you recommend to someone that is brand new to real estate investing? Do you think that they should go for an Airbnb for their first property, or do you think that it should be a rental?
It'll depend on the person. I think it's important for people to know that Airbnb does require being more hands-on, number one, especially if you're going to do a self-manage and not hire a property manager to save more money and keep more of your own money. So, for example, at this time, I'm doing all the cleaning with my wife. I've done all the listing coordination with the photographer, with the staging. We did all the furnishing ourselves. We did all the repairs ourselves. So it's been very hands-on compared to a rental. A rental is a vacant listing, and once you buy it, you just find a tenant. You just advertise it to find a tenant, do a one-year contract, and you're done with it. With an Airbnb, you have to be messaging with guests, coordinating their arrival, making sure they have access to entering the home, being on your phone 24/7 in case they have an emergency. So, with the first 5 guests that we had, we already had one of them lock themselves out. So, being able to have a smart garage and just quickly, within a minute or two, open the garage for them to have access back to the house is very important. So it's just more hands-on. And if you're willing to be hands-on with your investment, I think an Airbnb is a great option for you. And I do believe that you'll have more gross income as well. But again, you have to put in the work.
Okay. Okay, that's really good to know. And do you have any final tips for anyone that's just starting to that has been in Airbnb, or just any tips that you would like to give?
Um, I like going the traditional route. So I'm a huge fan of having good credit to be able to qualify for a mortgage, having a good down payment as well. If you tell the bank this will be an investment property, they will ask you for at least 20% down. If you tell them it'll be a vacation home far from where you live, they'll ask for 10% down. Um, so having just that cash in hand available to give your down payment and pay your closing costs, etc., I think is very important. Once you have that credit and that cash available, and throughout that journey, you've been educating yourself on how to work in Airbnb, what makes an Airbnb stand out. You've done your market research, you looked into city ordinances, etc. Then you can hire an agent to help you identify the right property for you and close on it. Once you close on it, I do encourage you to start working on it rapidly because it will consume a lot of your time getting it staged, repaired, advertised, etc., photographed. I have a buddy who bought an Airbnb and just kind of left it there, and before he knew it, he had sat on that property for about 5 6 months, and it was just vacant. And whenever he finally got it live, he had a huge regret because he lost so much money by not having revenue throughout that time. I thought I would get my Airbnb knocked out in about a month. It took about 2 months to get it fully ready to be listed on Airbnb. So definitely being prepared. I think preparation is very important, and also having a good network of professionals to help you out throughout that journey. So definitely have a good agent, a good mortgage lender, an insurance company to insure the property. A good title company will make the process smooth as well. A good home inspector, a handyman to help with anything that's maybe electrical, plumbing wise, etc. So just having a good group of people to help you buy the property.
Okay, and then just last thing, like, where can they find you? What's your Instagram handle so they can go follow you? And, just a phone number in case anyone wants to reach out to you.
Yeah, thank you. So on Instagram, my personal page is NWA Realtor. My business page is Homes NWA. You can find me on Facebook under Francisco Diaz or the Diaz team at Fathom Realty. Also on LinkedIn, and my number is 479-426-9107. And email Northwest Arkansas Realtor at gmail.com. If you guys have any questions about Airbnb or want to chat or grab coffee, I'm happy to do so.
Okay, well, perfect. Thank you so much for hopping on today. I know it was kind of a last minute thing, but I really appreciate it, and I will talk to you soon then. Okay,
Happy to be here, Tanya. Thank you. Have a good day.
bye.